everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Nikki, and we're the Stitch Sisters.
Yes, we are.
Today is battle number 4 with Battle of the Culottes.
Can you believe this is the last battle? The last battle. Although we have had people asking if we will pit the winners of the previous battles against each other. We might do that for a bit of fun somewhere down the line, but not anytime soon.
Yeah, but you've got 4 winners, so you will have 4 winners by the end of today.
Yes.
So that's enough to be getting on with.
Yes. So before we get into our 4th and final battle, let's just tell you about what we've been doing so far. So the previous 3 battles, we had battle number 1 was the comfy culottes, and in that we battled the Winslow against the Joanne, and the Winslow won. In round 2, we battled the split skirts, the culottes that look like skirts, and in that one we battled the big 4 patterns. So we battled Butterick versus Simplicity. And Simplicity won. Yes. In the previous battle, in battle number 3, we were looking at more structured culottes. Yes. And there we battled the Ultimates against the Flints from Megan Nielsen, and the Flints were victorious. Ooh. So, just to remind everyone, that means that it is 2-1 to me. So I am reigning champion. Can Nikki come back and make it even? She can't steal my crown, but she might be able to make it even.
We can make a draw.
Let's see what happens in battle number 4. But before we do that, if you could just do us a little favour and subscribe to our channel. I know you're probably getting annoyed. You regulars are probably getting annoyed with us saying that. But we have lots of people, our stats tell us, we have lots of people watching our videos who don't subscribe to our channel. Yeah. And we would really love it if they could. So if that's you, please do. Please do. If it's not you, just ignore us.
Yes.
You're welcome. We'll get on with some more interesting stuff.
So you can also pop over to the blog and get more culotte stuff over there. There's some styling tips. There's all sorts of things over there. And we'll be adding things to the blog which you're not going to get on YouTube. So make sure that you go and subscribe to that as well.
Information there.
And that's www.thestitchsisters.co.uk.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so should we get into it? Should we get into battle number 4, battle mode?
Karate.
So, round 4 in the red corner, weighing in at nothing, light as a feather. This one is Nikki wearing the Tanner culottes. Tanner culottes are by Designer Stitch. They come in UK sizes 6 to 26. Yeah. She's made them in some viscose linen. Woohoo! She used 2 meters of said linen, and it took roughly 4 to 5 hours to complete the construction.
It did.
Yes.
And in the blue corner, ready for a big punch up as always. If you see her in the street, she's probably ready to punch. It is Rachel, and she is wearing the Classic Nouveau by Hot Patterns.
Yes.
These lovely little jubblies come in sizes 6 to 26. And the lovely Rachel made a size 14.
She did.
She used a stretch twill in red, as is her favourite colour. She used 2 meters of it. Yep. And it took 4 hours to sew.
It did, yes. So, let's talk about them, shall we?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Tell us about your Classic Nouveau, because I have a feeling that this story will be longer than me telling about the Tanner. So let's get into it now.
Aren't all my stories longer? I talk so much. So the full name for these, which I love, is the Classics Nouveau, Classics with an X, Classics Nouveau Camera Ready Culottes. So just seeing the name, I love them, but I absolutely fell in love with the line drawing. Now I have to confess, I had never come across these until we decided to do Battle of the Culottes, and we were looking at all of the culottes patterns. Yeah. And the line drawing just made me go, oh my god, I need these.
We were on a bus at the time, weren't we?
Yes.
It was rather embarrassing.
Well, it's always good. You always know it's a good pattern if I start hyperventilating at a line drawing, going, this is this, I want to make this.
ones.
Exactly. I just loved, and it's a line drawing. I've been caught out by line drawings before.
Yeah.
The lady in the line drawing doesn't mean you're going to look like her.
And all Hot Patterns ones are all line drawings, aren't they?
They are, yes. And often that makes me distrustful of them. And the problem was I couldn't find them anywhere. So usually if it's just a line drawing, I then do a Google search. I go on Instagram. I look on sewingpatternreview.com. I look on the fold line. I look everywhere that I can find a review of them to see what they look like on a real person before I decide whether I'm going to make them. And I couldn't find any pictures at all anywhere.
Right.
It's like I imagined them. Like I'd found this pattern and
they
I
weren't
just imagined
new.
it.
It wasn't a new pattern.
No, it's not a new pattern at all. In fact, I think they are going to discontinue it very soon. So if you end up loving it, you need to order it very, very quickly.
Okay.
But the lovely Jeremy from Hot Patterns gifted us the pattern so
thanks,
that we would be
Jeremy.
able to make this video. So thank you for that. And they didn't disappoint. The first thing that I loved about them is I love any pattern that gives you those extra details about preparing your fabrics. So there were lots of little places that the pattern recommended that you interface, including the hem, any diagonal edges, just little things like that I think make quite a big difference to the final look, especially for a tailored trouser. And because I'd chosen to use a red twill, I knew that I had to get it right because
there was no
something's plain and something's bright red, it's going to show up if you don't quite get it right.
Absolutely.
There are a couple of things that I love about it. One of them is that it has no waistband. So you basically make these super high-waisted trousers and then you turn about the top 2 inches to the inside and that becomes your waistband, so your facing.
Okay.
And I've not ever seen that on a pair of trousers before and I really wasn't sure how it would work out, but I have to say it's really, really comfy and I would definitely do it again.
Excellent.
The other thing that I discovered is that I really need an empire waist version of these because when the facing is turned up and it's actually at the height, if you were to then put a facing on that or to put a waistband on that, there would be the coolest super high-waisted trouser.
I feel that needs to happen.
It does need to happen. So I definitely need to experiment with that. The one thing that I would say is I'm not sure if it's the perfect pairing of fabric and pattern. Okay. I love the pattern and I love the fabric, but they are huge. These are by far the biggest. I mean, the Winslows were huge, to be fair, but they're elasticated and they were made out of a really drapey fabric. Yes. Whereas this is a structured fabric and they are huge.
And they're a solid colour as
They are, yes. So I do wonder, I mean, you definitely see me coming in them and I don't mind that at all, but I'm a bit worried that maybe they look a bit clownish on me. I don't know. You'll have to let me know below. Part of me thinks I don't care because I love them that much anyway.
I think they look high-end stylish is what they look. They look fashion forward.
We'll go with that.
They look like street style stuff. The kind of thing that people would take pictures of you in the street and go, oh my god, I love your trousers. Never seen anything like that before.
Well, in that case, they're a winner.
They're not clown trousers.
No. So what was really interesting is there's lots of top stitching on this. So you do the pleats at the front and then you top stitch them down. You're top stitching around your pockets. You're top stitching on your pleats at the back as well. And then once you turn the facing to the underside, you're top stitching again, so you're stitching in the ditch and you're kind of sort of sewing down the facing or the extra bit of the waistband.
The fold,
You're sewing that to the underside and it's being held in place by these vertical lines of stitching that you do at all the seams and the pleats. Okay. So they're not going anywhere.
Quite secure.
Yeah, they are quite secure. Now because this is a stretched twill, I did actually have to take them in a little bit. I did have to make some adjustments. If I'd have made it out of a fabric without any stretch, I think it would have been a perfect fit. But because it's stretched, it needed to be brought in a little bit more. So I did have to take them apart and make a few adjustments. The only other adjustment I made, which is a fairly significant one, and I'm probably going to have to stand up so you can see. But
I'll put some
pictures in so that Nikki can show you. So what I loved about the line drawing, I'll put a picture of the line drawing up again. What I loved about the line drawing is that this pleat in the picture appeared to run right down into the fold on the trouser, and the fold, having that centre fold was a key styling element for me. I loved that. That's what I loved about it. Now the original pleat was here. And if you tried to press the trouser so that the fold went all the way down from there, it looked ridiculous because it wasn't in the centre, it was twisting into the middle.
Yeah.
So I have to confess that I did spend about 3 hours, I'm not exaggerating, so when I said time take to make, I mean to make a basic pair, I don't mean to do this.
No.
Adjusting, I took everything apart and I adjusted the pleat and I pinned it in place and I basted it in place, and then I tried it on and I pressed the trousers so that they have that fold on the front, and then I'd put them on and I'd go, no, that's not right, it's still not hanging right. And I did this, no word of a lie, about 8 times before I was happy with it.
Wow.
So I'm going to share this with you now, save you the trouble. I ended up moving the pleats out towards the side seam by 1 3/8 of an inch, and that was the perfect placement to have the leg folded flat, so you've got that centre fold running straight into your pleat. And to celebrate, because I was so pleased that I finally got there, I decided to actually top stitch that fold in place, so I've got a stay press crease.
Nice.
1970s style.
But that just means that it's not going to disappear. When you wash them, they're going to stay exactly like that.
After pressing that crease in so many times, I couldn't bear to do it again, so I just thought I'm going to top stitch it and then it's in there forever. It'll be nice and easy.
Because then every time you wash them, you would be having to refine that middle part. You'd have to repress them in again. But if it's sewn down,
exactly. The other thing that I did, and this is good for all you ladies who've got a slightly fuller tummy, like I have down here, so I have actually stitched this pleat down all the way to here. I tried it at different heights before then, but what it was doing is it was giving me some really unflattering sort of, well, what happens is the pleat was opening too much and it just wasn't looking crisp enough down the front. So what I found was stitching the pleat further down all the way to here, which is basically the crotch line really. That was the most flattering on me. And the only thing I can't decide is, does it need some sailor buttons on there?
Well,
possibly.
I wouldn't.
No?
Actually, only because I think it would tie you in too much to summer.
And also maybe with the size of them, that might look a bit costumey.
Yeah, it might take it.
Giant red trousers with sailor buttons on.
It might take it to the next level. But I think you could wear them in the winter with like a black polo neck tucked in, and black high boots and stuff like that. And if you put sailor buttons on it, you wouldn't wear them in winter.
Exactly. So these don't have a fly front, but we put them in the same level of difficulty as the Tanner, simply because there are quite a lot of extra construction details with all the additional top stitching, the pleats, trying to get those really precise. The pocket is a multi-part pocket, so it's part lining, it's got a facing, and then obviously with this extra height that gets turned to the inside and then stitched in the ditch. So
it's quite unusual.
It is unusual construction, which is why we thought we'd put it, but also it's a very structured, tailored look. So I think it fits quite well against the Tanner. Speaking of which, tell us, Nikki, tell us about the Tanners.
Well, the Tanners, I had actually, was one of my make nines.
Yay!
So this was back in January, and this was before we had even dreamed up the Culottes-off, so it was it's quite good. So I'd wanted to make them for a while. I just loved the pictures that came with the pattern. They just looked really stylish, really modern, really sleek looking, quite androgynous. I quite like that kind of look. And so I was quite happy to make these. I picked this lovely stripe linen because I needed at least 2 stripy pairs, but I went for black because I want these to be a winter pair as well. So although they're linen, I still think I could wear them with boots and you know, a longer sleeve top or a blouse or something like that in the winter, and I think I would get more wear out of them. So I deliberately chose a darker fabric. They are more complex than any of the other ones I've made. They have a proper fly front. They've got a waistband, they've got top stitched pockets on front and back, they've got a yoke, and clearly I couldn't let the opportunity go to stop, not play around with the stripes. So the legs all went that way and everything else went the other way, even my fly fronts and my fly shields and all the rest of it.
Excellent.
So I did all
and they've got a curved waistband as well.
They've got a curved waistband, so the waistband comes down a little bit like the yoke, like that, and I've put a little hook and bar at the front just to join the 2 parts together, which was your little tip from a few weeks ago. What did you put a hook and bar on?
In my Butterick ones.
In your Butterick ones, so I stole one of her hook and bars and put it on, and they were great. They were a relatively nice, simple, make up until the point of the fly, and then I had fly assistants came in to help, because this is only my second ever fly, and the first fly I've made, the trousers still aren't finished, so I needed a little bit of help, but it was fairly well explained.
You thought the instructions were good?
The instructions were really good. I liked the fact that it was so clearly laid out in the instructions. Everything was numbered, so you could clearly, there was no confusion about which bit came before which bit, because you were just following the numbers round, and it was very, very clearly laid out. No colour pictures, but line drawings where you needed it, and everything was quite clear, so I thought I was really impressed with the pattern.
The only thing you mentioned that you weren't that impressed by was the changing seam allowances on every step.
Oh yes, that was annoying. But then I think it's because there's so much top stitching. At the beginning of each stage it would say what the seam allowance was for that bit, so it would go from 3/8 to 5/8
to a quarter,
and you just had to be aware of that.
Well, I think now that you've made people aware of that, for me that's usually the sign of a really well drafted pattern, because they've thought about what seam allowance is perfect for that particular step, that particular edge, and I just think that is usually a sign that a pattern's been drafted really, really well. It does mean you have to have your wits about you though, because it's so easy to just go on 5/8 mode or whatever you're used to, and then
then after you've done 2 or 3 steps, you're getting to the point where you're used to going, right, what's the seam allowance on this bit, and you check that first before you actually sew it. And so it was quite nice. I like all the top stitching, I like the waistband, I like the details, I like the zip. One of my fly assistants helped me do it, and so I think it's all worked out really well. The only thing I had to do was, and I don't know whether this was me, but when I attached the waistband, where it overlaps, where you have your little hook and bar, you have your button, one side was much bigger than the other, so I had to unpick that, the bit that was bigger, unpick it, flip it back round, and then try and reduce it in size so that they matched, because clearly right on the front you wouldn't have one sticking it was about half an inch above the other one, but whether that was my joining, whether it was my sewing, that I'd maybe not sewn them quite at the right seam allowance and added a little bit onto that edge, I'm not sure, but it was an easy fix, so it didn't take me long to fix it, and it looks fine, so I'm not worried about it. But yes, I would make another pair. I would quite like to make a soft denim pair, or maybe even like quite a heavy crepe, a double crepe pair or something like that. I think they're really comfortable. Although they're fitted a bit more because you've got the fly and everything like that, they're a bit more work, they're actually really comfortable. They feel as if they're sitting on the waistband, but there's a lot of room in them, that not too tight or anything like that.
I would be quite tempted to give them a go in a stretch denim and to actually size down and make them like jeans, because I just think that they have that potential to just be a really nice high-waisted jean, and I find those really, really hard to find. And the ones that you can find, so obviously there's the ginger jeans, but that's a specific kind of shape, and I like the fact that you've got the wider leg on those, but it's not a flare, it's just a wider leg, and I think that the pocket details would be really, really interesting, especially with loads and loads of denim top stitching.
You really could easily take it to the next level and make them jeans. I would possibly even think about, I mean, you'd have to try mine on to see how they fitted you, as to whether you went down 2 sizes instead of 1.
Well, it depends how much stretch is in the denim. Depends how much stretch,
because they are roomy, and I'm just worried that if you went down 1, they would just still be that bagginess to them. They wouldn't be tight enough with the stretch fabric. But there's definitely something to think about, definitely something to play with. But I would definitely make another pair. So would you make you would make some flits?
I think I would make some tanners. I'm quite interested to see what they'd be like as jeans. So that's intriguing. I probably wouldn't make another pair of these, simply because they're such a statement that I don't think you need more than one. Would you make these, do you think? Have you got no idea until you try them on?
I don't think I've got any idea until I try them on, but my gut's saying no.
Okay, I don't think
much of a statement.
I don't think we can decide this final battle until we've tried each other's trousers on. So if you could just bear with us for just 2 seconds, we'll be back in a minute. We'll do a whooshy and we'll be back wearing each other's trousers.
Ta-da!
Right, here we go. We've got each other's trousers on.
Switcheroo.
Just like magic. We'll put some pictures in so you can decide for yourself. But that confirms I would make a pair of tanners.
Yeah.
I would need to adjust the fit quite a lot. They're quite big on the waist, but I think they are a good fit on the hip.
Yeah.
And I think that my denim dreams could come true. I think it would work. Yes.
And I didn't think I wanted to make a pair of these until I put them on, and now I need them in my life.
They are amazing, aren't
They are really good. It's like wearing the big bells. They come from the top of your leg and just sit like that, and they're just amazing. You just want to walk around in them.
They're such statement trousers. They're just so cool.
But like you said, because I'm tall, I think that they suit my silhouette as well. So they're quite nice. So I think I might make some.
Oh, excellent. So we would make each other. So where does that leave us, Licky? What are we going to do?
Do
we need to have a real battle? Do we need to actually
fight? Let's fight it out. No, I think it's a draw. So that does mean that you are the overall winner.
Well, yes, it does, I suppose. But I think maybe we should just let them decide. This is the final battle. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Are you in the red corner or the blue corner?
Yes. Is it the Tanners or the Classics Nouveau?
Let us know in the comments below. Tanners or Classics Nouveau, and we will let you decide.
Because we can't decide. We want them all.
Yes. Until then, we'll say it's a draw.
Yes.
And that I'm the overall winner.
I'm never going to hear the end of it. I'm just gonna let it run for it. There we go. That's normal.
So that's it, our final battle. We hope you've enjoyed coming on this journey with us. This has been born out purely from our absolute obsession with culottes. We love them so much.
Yes.
But we wanted to give ourselves an excuse to make lots of pairs.
Yes.
But
what's our next battle series going to be?
That's the thing. Good point. Yeah, I wonder. Let us know if you've got any thoughts. But I'm just so excited because I know that all of these culottes that we have made can be styled for spring and summer or autumn and winter.
Yes.
I'm imagining long boots and coats, but jumpers, crop
oversized jumpers.
But then I'm imagining wearing them now over the next few weeks with flip-flops and pumps. And
I'm taking these ones on holiday with me.
No, you're not. They're mine. You can't have them. Make your own.
Damn it.
You adjust your own, please. Spend 6 hours doing it.
You've done it for me. It's going to be so much easier for me.
No. Go on, you finish off.
Anyway, you'll have lots of prancing pictures as normal.
Yes.
Let us know what you think of this series. Which has been your favourite pair of culottes from all of the 8 pairs that we've made and reviewed. Yep. And let us know what you want us to do battles off next. So, prancings are coming. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.